Indian giant Tata has inked a deal with Morocco's armed forces for locally producing the wheeled armored platform. The WhAP, which is an Indian designed and developed amphibious wheeled combat vehicle, can easily navigate through muddy or slushy terrain. It has the capability to withstand mine blasts. This is the first defense manufacturing plant to be set up by an Indian company outside India. But at a time when foreign armed forces are showing their belief in such Indian-made vehicles, why is the Indian military reluctant to induct them? Are these vehicles just too good for India, or is there something else? To discuss these, I have with me my colleague Deepak Badana in the studio, but joining us is Lieutenant General Sanjay Kulkarni, former DG Infantry, and Rahul Chaudhary, former CEO, Tata Power. Gentlemen, welcome to the News9 Plus show. General Kulkarni,
thank you.
Good for the world, not good enough for the Indian Armed Forces. There seems to be a series of such products which are being exported abroad without the Indian military buying them. Is this slogan of Make in India, Make for the World meant to mean that the Indian Armed Forces will not really buy the stuff that Indian companies make? Break it down for us.
Sandeep, thank you very much. I think you've put everyone in a catch-22 situation now. First and foremost, of course, they've undergone trials.
Right.
They've been a great success even in Ladakh. It isn't that they are not capable of doing so. Definitely are good. It's absolutely indigenous platform, and as
Right.
you rightly said, a platform which has all the characteristics, and it's amphibious more than anything else. It's
Yes.
capable of even doing chemical, biological, radiological, everything, all of it. It
Right.
has a modular platform. It can carry troops, about a section plus of troops that it can carry from place A to place B. It's 8-wheeled. It has all, though, of course, the deal which is or rather the trials that we conducted, both
Right.
mobility has the advantage. Even if we were to look at the Striker trials which are going on, I
Right.
don't think Striker has got amphibious capabilities that the Tata vehicle has. And Tata Advanced System in conjunction with BAL, in conjunction with the DRDO, a
Right.
totally indigenous platform. And I would personally say that we must encourage whatever it might be.
Right.
Not for a simple, of course, the order may be about a huge order, 530 odd vehicles
Right.
for the Indian Army. That's perfectly fine. I think we have all of it, but of course, the Striker comes with Javelin. That's
Right.
something which we have to look into it. It comes with a Javelin,
Right.
anti-tank guided missile, and all of it is a transfer of technology. All of it will be made in India. That's okay. But definitely, Tatas are no less, because even the Moroccan army is a professional army.
Right.
Let me tell you, a professional army spends about $12 billion on its defense, which is approximately 8.5% of its GDP, and
Right.
we're participating in all the UN operations. So therefore, it's not that it is this thing, very good. And of course, I am told, Sandeep,
Yes.
that they're going to make this vehicle in Casablanca. So it
Right.
is something like, it is make in Casablanca.
Make in
not,
Casablanca.
made in India.
General Kulkarni,
Yeah.
you think there will be a situation where the Make in Casablanca vehicles could possibly be, exported to India for use by the Indian military? Could it actually come down to that? I'm asking you this because one hears from the private sector, there's a lot of complaints that they have. Look, we make all these hardware, defense hardware, we invest, we create plant, machinery, we invest capital. But finally, when it comes to the orders go to an imported platform, and then we have to, fight for these export orders to small countries in Africa. But, because the Indian military does not buy us. And when the Indian military buys any product, as you well know, Deepak, you've been tracking this sector as well, it's like a 5-star gold class rating for that product. And so, in that situation, General Kulkarni, does it make sense for the Indian military to at least buy small amounts? If you know that a WhAP is good, for instance, or you know that a battle rifle is good enough, what prevents the Indian military from buying small, limited quantities of it?
I would go along with Sandeep, we should. And there should be no doubt we should. And not for any other reason. It can be further upgraded if the fire control system doesn't seem to be as desired, or even for that matter, even if you're looking at firepower, the sighting system, or anything of that kind, it can always be upgraded. If it is to come up to the level of Striker, it can always come up. Even the weight part, the weight, because an amphibious vehicle means something lesser than about 24 tons. And obviously, if it's amphibious, it can be done. It can be various versions of it also. Because I remember once the Tata Sumo vehicles, they were introduced at one point of time, and they gave it to the army for trials. And the trials, we gave all kinds of suggestions. And of course, the Tata Sumo didn't find its entry into the Indian Army,
Right.
but it was one of the greatest successes of the Indian market. If you
Right.
saw, all the cabs and all of these vehicles were all Tata Sumos,
Right.
because the trials went through the Indian Army, a great success, modified. And
Yes.
similarly, I would go along with you, Sandeep, at least on this issue. We must encourage our people. There
Right.
is no denying the fact, because it is, after all, if they have to be tried in Ladakh, or if they have
Yes.
to be tried in the desert, where the Moroccan armies are going to be using them, primarily
Yes.
in the desert, and not as high altitude as us. But I think they've been a great success. We should give them a chance. And we also take on the strikers.
Right.
No objections to that. But
Right.
definitely, some of these must be there with us.
Absolutely. And in fact, Rahul Chaudhary just joins us. He was former CEO of Tata Power SED, and in fact, he was one of the prime movers of the wheeled armored personal carrier. Mr. Chaudhary, tell us why it's really important for the Indian military to put its money where its mouth is, especially when it comes to slogans like Atmanirbhar Bharat. General Kulkarni was just mentioning the fact that, yes, there is a case for the Indian military to buy even limited quantities of hardware, that's IDDM hardware especially, to give it a leg up, a boost in the global market.
Military technology and capabilities, if you have not developed it for a particular applications,
Right.
I mean, it's not it's a specifically engineered product,
Right.
and it requires a context, a doctrine for usage,
Right.
and it gets refined. How you use it refines it, and therefore the countries which are exporting weapons and systems, except for just shells and armaments, you need to have a proper development cycle and the
Right.
usage. The problem in India is that we are one of the worst countries to specify equipment.
Right.
Our equipment specification methodology is cut and paste.
Right.
It has to be tailored for a requirement. Unfortunately, our systems have not supported it.
Right.
And when you create, and the second problem we have is, yes, we have requirements from desert to Himalayas.
Multi-terrain requirements, desert,
And
forest,
all multi-terrain
jungle. Yes.
requirements put into something as one weapon system, and
Right.
you want a all singing, all dancing weapon system. Now you will have to make compromises, engineering compromises to
Yes.
get that damn thing done.
Right.
Now that will not be the most cutting edge and be able to win the war, and also the costs are going to be higher.
Right.
So it
Right.
is to first get your. We need to work with the industry
Yes.
to create specific programs and projects. This everything, I mean, from the deserts to the Himalayas, everything has to work everywhere is a problem in itself.
It reminds me of that Hollywood film, Everything, Everywhere, Always, all at once.
Yeah, I mean that was that. Yeah, I mean this is not only India. This
Yes.
is worldwide. If we do not, especially today, when you have to get into precision and you have
Yes.
you are now running a 3D kind of a world, not a 2D kind of a world,
Yes.
with the lighter ammunition and everything else. You
Yes.
need to have very, very precise definitions of your doctrines and how you will use your military system.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Chaudhary. Two stalwarts of the Indian military-industrial complex arguing for greater awareness when it comes to Indian design, developed weapon systems. If they are to become competitive across the world, you need to relook at our doctrines and you need to handhold Indian industry, place orders so that that becomes like a 5-star mark of quality across the world. So other countries can then follow suit by buying our indigenous weapons. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for joining us this evening.